Let's go!
I was checking out the scouting report, and I don't see nothing but bums. You and your whole entire world know that I am the one. You and your squad ain't got nothing for me. Your organization is looking stressed, and now that you haters is running from me, I know that you see that I'm highly blessed.
Here we go, here we go, here we go, here we go. Yeah, we live with your boy Coach G. Yeah, we live with your boy Monty.
You and your squad ain't got nothing for me. Your organization is looking stressed, and now that you haters is running from me, I know that you see that I'm highly blessed.
Cue up the music. It's here, baby. It's time. Episode 40. Did I say that? 40? Yeah, 40. Welcome into the Rewind, brought to you by Global Sports Entertainment 3. I'm the captain of this ship, as every week, Monty Moss, alongside my co-host, Bryant, Garvin, which I'll introduce shortly. All grace to the good Lord. I want to say thank you for another opportunity to get better tonight. It's going to be a great lineup tonight. We've got a great guest, a person that has been running from the last few months to come on this thing. So we finally got him freed up on his schedule. He took the time out to carve it out just for us. So I appreciate it. Like, subscribe to our YouTube channel at the Rewind_GSC3, as well as follow us on all our social media platforms at the Rewind_GSC3. I just want to give a prayers to my godfather, my dog, Sir Charles Barkley. He has had ankle surgery today, successful surgery. He brought me this hat back from his recent trip to Hawaii. So I told him, your boy's going to wear it tonight on the episode. So this episode's for you, Charles. Good to see you. Hope to see you soon. And just a quick stat that our producer, Chris from 1990 Studios, he brought up to me tonight on our pre-production call, that only 8% of podcasts make it past 10 episodes. And the reason why is that because either they give up or they don't have the content or the will or the determination or the drive or whatever goes into it each and every week, or however many times they shoot an episode in a month or a week or whatever. So we've already surpassed that, meaning tonight 40. So all grace to the good Lord. So thank you to all our previous guests that have blessed us with their presence for coming on, as well as the support we've been getting on all of our social media platforms. All this goes to you. So thank you for that. And we're going to keep this train rolling, man, long as God give us the opportunity. And we got a special announcement to make at the end of tonight's episode. I won't say now. I did say the end. So stay tuned for that. But let's get into it. Let's get my co-host in here. A four-time state champion, over 400 career wins in his co-ed coaching career. He's coached both basketball and football. Chicago's finest, Temple alum. He is also inducted into the Newark Hall of Fame. It is BG Bryant Garvin joining us live from the East Wing, episode 40. Bryant, what's good, man? How are you? Good to see you. And we're off to a bad start already.
Chocolate, man. This is the chocolate ganja, man. Yeah, man.
I wish we had the picture from last week or 2 weeks ago. Shout out to our guy Pat. I don't know if you guys ever saw Trading Places, but the scene where they in the train, they're inside the train station room on the train, and the guy comes in. I don't know if you guys remember the scene. He goes, "I certainly hope there's enough space on the train for me." And then he's talking to Eddie Murphy, and he goes, "Mickey and Boko, it's me. Do you remember me? It's Lionel Joseph. Lionel!"
Don't say that, man.
Magic Conference Committee. And then so Brian had his Jamaican wig on. Oh my God.
Bumbleclot, baby, bumbleclot.
November is November is Men's Awareness Month, and clearly we need to put Brian on a high alert, because this guy is, you don't know, maybe he's losing his brains weekly. I don't know. But how you doing, Brian? Good to see you, man. Episode 40. 40. Can you believe that? 40. 40.
I can believe it, baby. I can believe it. I was supposed to be doing 40 of these damn things, or 80 or 100 or 1,000 or 2,000. But your little ass just drug me into this. So I'm here.
No.
I'm here. I just want to give a quick shout out to my mother, Laura Garvin. Her birthday is this Saturday. I'm not going to be able to give a shout out to her next week because it'll be afterwards, but she will be the big 75. So Laura Garvin, my mom, I love you. And I'm happy to be able to be blessed to see you on your 75th birthday. I love you big time. I'll see you soon.
Happy birthday, Grandma, a.k.a. the original OG of the Garvins, 75, a year of blessings, another year around the sun. God's grace, hopefully you can be able to celebrate with your family. I know Brian's going down there for Thanksgiving this year with the family. So Mama Garvin, OG Garvin, happy birthday. And I personally hope to see you soon in the good old dangerous streets of Chicago. Love you, Grandma. And since Brian's giving birthday shout outs, Monday will be my grandma, Janice Patricia Moss, her another birthday. Happy heavenly birthday. So we know how important she is to me and the role she's played. But let's get this show on the road, Bryant. You know, we got another great guest. Every week we get great guests, man. I think that's one thing that, you know, we got to give ourselves a pat on the back for more in terms of the brand, just the product. You know, we're able to get some really good guests, and we're able to put out a good product. I mean, shit, only 8% of podcasts that don't make it past episode 10. I see why. I see exactly why. It ain't easy. Let me tell you something. It ain't easy, but let this be a example of just taking something that you have a vision, you have a dream, believe in it, put people around you that have the same goals or believe in your vision and goals, and just put in the work week in and week out. This thing isn't easy. There's no check I received from this yet, speaking that into existence, but you know, just got to have that determination and the will to win. And, you know, we've been blessed to have great guests week in and week out. And we're going to keep this thing rolling, man, because tonight I got a lot to talk about, and I'm sure you do as well, Bryant. But let's get this former alum in here, raised in the Prudential Projects. I know where that's at, not too far from me in RBC. Attended Science High School, but played football for Northeast Side under who? The great Bryant Garvin, where ultimately he graduated from. He is married and a father of 2. He is also currently 21 years in law enforcement and counting, and unfortunately, sadly, with great, great sorrow, he is a Dallas Cowboys fan, just like our Chris. This picture here, you see, shout out to Chief Sally, who invited him to this great event, all for a good cause. I ran into my big bro. He was like, man, yo, it's good. You guys doing great things with the podcast. I said, when you coming on? This is probably in June or July, I believe. And he's like, my calendar's busy. So I threw him out some dates. So once we got to November, he's like, give me that date right there, November 12th. I was like, done. It's done. So Moose, my big bro, good to see you. Welcome into episode 40. Good to see you as always. How are you on your end? And are you ready to kick Brian's ass tonight?
I'm well. Appreciate you having me on. Coach Gar, what's up, man? Coach
Gar,
bad
boy.
Nobody really needs to introduce him like me. You know, because he just puts his hands up and starts, what are you doing? That's the signature sign. You just see him from down the street. What are you doing? Because he's always frustrated at what someone else is doing, never looks at himself. So
no.
You're right.
He knows him well. He's right. Say that one more time, Moose, for the people that don't know Coach Gar.
He doesn't see that self-reflection. He'll find the flaw in you, but not himself.
Not himself.
Right.
Himself. Got to give yourself more grace, Father. But you guys are ready? It's going to be a great episode. We got a lot to talk about, but let's get into Thursday Night Football from last week, Week 10. The Broncos and the Raiders. Just an FYI for everybody out there that may not know, Bryant sat here last week and picked the Las Vegas Raiders on the road, thinking they would go into Denver and get the win. He was wrong. He falls to 6-4 on Thursday Night Football picks for the year. But, Bryant, we called this game. I mean, you called this game. Every week, I feel like, for your Thursday Night Football picks, you say, this team's going to win by 3. And Denver won by 3 in a pretty sad fashion. I thought Bo Nix was going to come out and light the horrible Vegas Raiders defense up, but he only finished with 150 yards passing. He did throw 2 interceptions, but it was a pretty much low-scoring game. No team could really get a flow going, especially offensively from both teams, Geno Smith and Bo Nix. But what did you see from your takeaway from the Broncos win at home to improve to 5-0 in the Mile High this past Thursday?
That game was close. I knew it was going to be close. I had a hunch. I was like, either way, I was like, I know Denver possibly could win, but I got to go with the Raiders because of Gentry. Gentry owed me a game. He still owed me a game, even though he gave me a good 15 points in fantasy football. He did good enough to get me over the edge, and now I'm 5-5 in both leagues. So I like that. It was a 3-point game. I like what he did. some little bit of production, but they just not good enough to beat that team, even though they almost did.
Yeah, gave you 60 yards rushing on the ground. He also got the end zone for you. So there goes your 15 points for fantasy. Moose, I'm not sure if you can convince Bryant otherwise when we pick tonight's Thursday night football winners between the Jets and the Patriots this coming Thursday or this Thursday, whatever. But can you somehow explain to the people what would give Bryant the right conscience to pick the Las Vegas Raiders, who coming into this game were 2-6? They're horrible. Why would Bryant pick them on the road going into Denver, knowing Denver's undefeated at home, coming into that game at 4-0, knowing Bo Nix and Sean Payton's offense been hot? Can you please give us some clarity on why you think Bryant picked the Raiders and what was he thinking? I mean, I don't know.
Short week, divisional rival,
Yes.
young quarterback, and something's off between that coach and that quarterback. Something's off. And I'll give Coach this. He can't identify that from afar. He picks it off real quick. It's something that I seen in tape watching the game. You know, a lot of people bad-mouthed Stinker. Both defenses, you know, they get paid just like the other side. They may not be as well and put together as Denver is, but that's what makes Denver a good team. That's, you know, you get through these hurdles. Going from good to great is all about those small wins between your divisional rivals. You know, they reluctantly they hate each other, you know, but outside of that, it's still a game. But there's a lot of things going on. They just passed the trade deadline. You know, Oakland had a lot of rumors circling them. They got rid of a receiver. So, you know, there's a chance for another guy to step up, you know, losing Jacoby Myers. So all these things come into play. And on a short week, it happens.
It does. Yep. It does. And it was. I was kind of shocked with the move with moving Myers on to Jacksonville, but now I know why it makes sense now with Travis Hunter being out for the year, playing both sides of the ball. I know Brian talked a little bit about that later, but let's talk about Bryant, the team that I told you who's going to be more than likely a dark horse to win a division, if not get to the Super Bowl, and that's the Baltimore Ravens. 3-0 since coming off a bye. We've talked about it each week. But they went into Minnesota. They took care of business 27-19. They are now 4-5, one game back in the division with the Steelers losing this past Sunday. Lamar Jackson, 176 yards passing, threw one touchdown. Derrick Henry, another consecutive week with having over 75 yards rushing. He didn't fumble, took care of the football. And look, Zay Flowers did what he was supposed to also. He stepped up offensively when it mattered most, having over 75 yards receiving. But I'm not surprised from Minnesota losing. But Ravens 3-0, is it time to start putting them in the conversation of possibly winning the AFC North? Give me your talks.
Not yet. Not yet. I said before when they was losing all those games, I think they lost like 4 in a row. They have to win out. You know what I'm saying? But now all the teams that in their division are starting to lose is making it like a highlight, and everybody's getting injured, and it depends on who's healthy at the end. Basically, what football has come down to. So, you know, you can't hit in practice, you can't hit here, you can't touch the quarterback, you can't do this. Now everybody's getting injured. Half the damn team that we started out with in week 1 is completely different, and my fantasy football is showing because I keep trading places and players and going back and forth. So you don't know which type of team you're going to get. They're getting healthy now. So at this point, you know, with Lamar Jackson is in there and he's backing in, he's 100%. And Flowers is back now from him being hurt and dinged up a little bit. Now he's back and fully healthy. I think this team can run the table and get to the playoffs and then possibly do some damage. But we don't know. The NFL is just – it's not a type of league where you can basically bet all your money on it. You'd be at risk of doing that type of stuff. So I'm not going to put that up there, but I think Baltimore can win on out.
Moose, let me get your perspective on this, because when I look at the Baltimore Ravens' next 2 games, in my opinion, I believe they can improve to 5 straight wins with having the Browns this upcoming Sunday. Then the following week, they're taking on the Jets. 2 games that's arguably winnable, and then you got the Steelers in another divisional game against the Bengals. So if you're a Ravens fan, you need another Steelers loss to be tied for first place. But with the upcoming games that the Ravens have, do you have the confidence from what you've seen during this 3-game win streak since the bye week that Baltimore can somehow run the table and win a division?
They're like a weird stock in the stock market. They're going to cool off at some point. You want to believe in them. They're getting by on pure talent. Like, you know, Coach Gar said that, you know, sometimes health plays a role. And I do agree that the AFC North is up for grabs. But here you have the Steelers trying to figure out what they're going to do. Aaron Rodgers, his age is starting to show in certain spots. Team to watch in that division is if Cincy can somehow win a few games, they'll make it interesting. I still don't think they come out of nowhere. I do think the Ravens pull it through off a pure.
A little bit of
We
frozen.
lost Moose. I'm sure we'll get him back as soon as we can. But Bryant, just to piggyback off what Moose said, I do agree with him in some degree. I don't see the Bengals having any contention at getting back in this. I thought the game they lost to Chicago at home pretty much put a decimal in their season. I mean, they're currently on a 2-game losing streak. But Baltimore right now, it's about getting hot at the right time. And November is when things really start picking up in the football season. And we got Moose back here. November, going into that December stretch and during that football season is crucial. It's win or lose, make a break. And, just to piggyback off what Moose said, I wasn't impressed offensively with what I've seen from the Steelers this past Sunday night in Los Angeles. I mean, the Chargers defense got after him. Khalil Mack looked like the Khalil Mack I saw when he was a Chicago Bear. And look, Aaron Rodgers' offense, they're a little bit dysfunctional right now. The run game's not there. DK Metcalf's not being involved as he once was a few weeks prior. And look, Aaron Rodgers said, we got some things we need to clean up. And yeah, you do, because you got a 1-game lead over the hot Ravens. And look, they got a chance to go on a 5-0. But Moose, quick pick. If the season were to end tonight, tomorrow, next week, who do you think wins the AFC North? Do you see the Steelers or do you see the Ravens?
Ravens. Easy win for them, personally. They're going to get by just on talent in some games.
Current standings right now in the AFC North, Steelers with a 1-game lead over the Ravens. Ravens will be another game this upcoming Sunday against the Cleveland Browns, which I expect them to win. Steelers will be playing the Bengals, which I would say the Steelers should win. But, Bryant, we saw the battle of the 40-year-olds earlier in the season on a Thursday night football game, and Joe Flacco shocked the hell out of me in a dual matchup. Do you see this upcoming Sunday game between the Steelers and Bengals? Do you see these two 40-year-olds throwing over 300 yards, and who you got to win?
That's no question. I think that they both going to be gunslinging it. I still Baltimore is going to win the game. They have to. They can't afford to lose another game. They have to go all the way through. So, the Bengals, they're going to, do their thing with Flacco. Flacco's going to throw for 400-something yards like he did the past 2 or 3 games. He's just out there just winging it. I'm amazed at how he just stepped right into the play and just come in and just start gunslinging. His timing is impeccable to being professional. But at the end of the day, I still don't think it's going to be enough. Baltimore just definitely they understand that they're 4-5, and any one loss, they're going home immediately, because 6 losses is hard to make a wild card.
So quick picks this Sunday, Steelers or Bengals, who you got? Steelers or home?
Steelers and Bengals, I'm going to have to take the Steelers this week.
Good man. You're lucky it's not a Thursday night game. You might have lost again, but that's story for another day. Let's talk about your team that somehow, some way pulled a miracle out of their butt by scoring 14 points in the fourth quarter against a horrible New York Giants team, and that's the Chicago Bears. Going in, taking care of business at home, 24-20 was your final. Caleb Williams, I got to give him credit where credit is due, was horrible for 3 quarters, couldn't really get a flow going. Fourth quarter, Ben Johnson says, hey, Caleb, let's get this thing rolling. They score 14 points in the fourth. They go on and get the win. Bryant, are you happy with the performance from Kalen Love? 20-36, 220 yards passing, 1 touchdown. DeAndre Swift, welcome back, 13 carries for 80 yards rushing. And my man Odunze with 6 receptions at 86 yards and a touchdown. I know you're not a fan of what Chicago's doing in the fourth quarter as of late, but are you happy with the Bears being 6 wins in a long time?
Well, I'm happy. Everybody's talking about it. You have my guy that's I forgot his show. First he hated Caleb, but now he's starting to love him. And I'm like, dude, you can't do that. Either you love him or you hate him. I thought I stayed on the fence with Caleb. He plays great at spurts, but then he does crazy stuff. He reminds me of Curly Neal in basketball. He's going around in circles back there, and he's just afraid to stay in the damn pocket. step up and throw the football. He did it in the fourth quarter. Every time he does it in the fourth quarter, he's throwing rockets. Like, it's unbelievable. But, this team here, they have some luck on their side these past 3 games. They're playing against bums. The Giants were bums. They sucked. They got a lot of people hurt. Jackson Dart, and he's basically now he's out for a concussion protocol. And then defensively, that's a very weak team. They're not very good, and we struggle against this team. And in fact, defensively, our defensive line, they have issues with tackling. But I think the whole league has issues with tackling because of the rules. The rules are just atrocious. You might as well just sit there and put flags on everybody because you can't hit anybody. So when you're not practicing and tackling, we have one tackle to get on the sideline. I forgot what it was. It's just a little flare pass to the back. All you had to do is make one tackle, just one tackle, and this game would have been over. No, he went up there, tried to hit him with his shoulder. He just slid right off, and he had a 40, 50-yard gain off of that until he wound up getting tackled towards out of bounds. So those little bitty things, man, can win and lose you games. And Bears are finding a way to win the game in the fourth quarter. These cardiac kids is what I call them. You just can't keep going down this rabbit hole like this. I think the Bears are going to have some bumpy roads coming up here in these next few games. I think they go lose 1 or 2 more before the head coach there is going to have to get in the ass to start turning on and playing 4 quarters, because this one cardiac thing, I can't watch this shit. I'm getting too old.
Yeah, the Bears will be on the road this coming Sunday, another divisional game at Minnesota. But Bryant, if you're a Bears fan and Ben Johnson era year 1, right now ranking offensively, you are 3rd in the league in total yards. You are 2nd in the league in rushing yards, but defensively, you're 26th in passing and you're 27th in total yards. So defensively, you guys give up more. One of the worst defenses in the league. I know you're not worse than Dallas, and I won't say that too loud because Moose may get mad at me. But you got to be impressed with what you've seen offensively. But like you said, defense wins championships, right?
Yeah, defense. If you can't play D, man, Caleb is not going to sit there and bail you out all the time. You can't put that on his back. He's not that type of guy. He's a productive guy. He'll get you a touchdown, maybe a 2. Some luck here, maybe a 3rd one. Try to win your game 21 or 20 to 14. But yet, that defensive line is just not it. It's just not it right now. They give up too many points, too many yards, too many passing yards. There's no pressure. They coming up with different schemes, but yet it's just too much. So they got to figure that out defensively.
It's just too much. And Moose, I want to put you on a hot seat because we're getting ready to talk about a team we just finished talking about. And that's the Pittsburgh Steelers. We're moving on to the Chargers and Steelers from Sunday night. Aaron Rodgers' first game in SoFi Stadium in his career in that lovely, beautiful $1 billion stadium in Los Angeles. Chargers improved to 7-3, quiet 7-3, I should say. Jim Harbaugh knows how to win, and he's winning. But the Steelers fall to 5-4, still first in the division. But Steelers, they fell like a bag of lawn chairs. Justin Herbert just did what he was supposed to do offensively, like we always know he does. And that's sort of football at a high level: 20-33, 220 passing yards, 1 touchdown. Steelers struggle against the run all year. Vidal, my man in fantasy, 25 carries, 95 yards. He did have a touchdown, both rushing and receiving. And Luke McCunkley, I think, who's been one of the underrated radars for receivers this year, having over another 100-yard receiving, and he got in the end zone for a touchdown. But when we look at this game from Sunday night, Moose, and you see the Chargers in stunning fashion take care of business, the defense, they sacked Aaron Rodgers, they got a safety, they got interceptions. That's everything that the Chargers need to pretty much seal a deal if they want to be divisional champs right there. But what was your takeaway from this game on Sunday night, and what do you look forward to seeing from Pittsburgh if they want to win the division or move on going into Sunday's game this week?
Pittsburgh's going to try to go into that with Mike Tomlin and try to pull up, some motivated speeches and try to get them going. But I'm not buying Aaron in that cohesion. I just think they're not playing up to their potential. They're a tough blue collar team. They're going against, the flashy stars out in Chargers, but This is the difference you get between a Jim Harbaugh team versus a Mike Tomlin team. Jim Harbaugh's, he knows he's got the receivers going. He's got his run backs. He had an injury. Hampton's getting healthy, so he should be back either this week or next week. And Herbert, Herbert's got to show out now. This is his game. This is that cusp of, can he get over the hurdle and reach the peak of playing at that elite level and start getting into that conversations of the Josh Allens of the world, because, when it comes to the Steelers, you got Aaron Rodgers, they're digging into the well and ain't much left there.
I just want to put out a fun fact to all you guys, if you didn't know. In the last 8 years, and we take former New York Giant head coach Brian Dable, who recently were fired this week, and we take Mike Tomlin, the great Hall of Fame coach for the Pittsburgh Steelers. In the last 8 years, do you know which team has a playoff win and who doesn't? The Giants have one, and the Steelers have nothing. So everyone talks about all the great success of what the Steelers done, making the playoffs X amount of consecutive years. I believe it's 10 and counting, but you haven't had a playoff win in 8 years. Steelers fans, the terrible towel, the standard. Dick LeBeau, Bill Cowher, all the great, the Rooney family. This is what they put out for. And you mean tell me in 8 years, the last 8 years, Steelers haven't got a win? But they're all in. They're all in on that 40-year-old quarterback named Aaron Rodgers. I tell you that. Brian, what you saying?
I just had this conversation on Facebook with this one guy today, and he was talking about Lovie Smith. And I sat there and was like, look, Lovie Smith got this team to the Super Bowl. Yeah, he was in the playoffs 3 out of the last 9 years. I get that. But Lovie Smith is a great coach because guess what? The Bears haven't been shit since. So if you sit there and you look at it and you fire a guy because he just got a Super Bowl, he took you to the Super Bowl after 3 years, and yes, he has some ups and downs. You need players. If you don't have those players, you can't handle and deal with trade deals and all this other stuff that's out of your control. It's all about money, dollars and cents. If it was up to Lovie, he'd take 1,000 players to sit there and dominate every single year. But if you don't give him the money to do so, guess what? You got to deal with the cards that you was dealt with. And that's just the end of it. So to sit here and say that Lovey's not a great coach, well, you got Tomlin that's just sit here and basically haven't been in playoffs in 8 years.
Well, they've been to the playoffs. They haven't won a playoff game in 8 years.
But he hasn't won.
So much
hasn't won anything.
That, though.
Go ahead,
so much goes into that. These coaches, they have to build. You got to think about it. They got to build the staff. They got to build. They got to get the GM, convince them to get going. But Coach Gar, he mentioned Lovie Smith. I love Lovie Smith. Yeah, a phenomenal coach. He got Rex Grossman into the Super Bowl. Again, say what you want. Say what you want. What you got with that? But, Mike Tomlin couldn't get Kenny Pickett to play down. You know what I mean? So and that's the other side of it. That's part of it. You got to work with the talent you have. You can't just force feed your system onto the talent. You got to make sure if this guy can't throw the ball or he can't do certain things, well, you got to do something different. Got to do a little running scheme or get the receivers short routes and just move the ball. But
let me say this public service announcement: if Mike Tomlin and the Steelers don't have a successful year, and that means winning in the playoffs, him and the Steelers, this marriage will end, and Mike Tomlin will go on. And I've said this earlier, even last year. When we first started this thing, I said I would like to see a Mike Tomlin and an Andy Reid role in a different situation with a different organization because, look, he's done all he could in Pittsburgh. He's ran this train and he's driven this car until it can't go no more. And right now, Mike Tomlin and this Pittsburgh Steelers team, right, they're in that 2006 Chevy Caravan minivan. And that car has got over 300,000 miles, and that thing got that check engine light on, and it's got the ABS light on, and it's got the oil's low light on. They're getting to that point where if they don't get over that hump, and that includes winning a playoff game, something that they didn't do last year, losing the last 5 games of the regular season, having Russell Wilson as the starting quarterback going into Baltimore in the first round of playoffs, losing that game. Look, it's getting ready to be a disaster waiting to happen if Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers team don't figure it out. But they got to win the division because even if the Steelers are a wild card team, which I don't think they will be, it's not going to be good for nobody. And turmoil in Pittsburgh will begin, and it'd be time to clean house because they're old. They went out and got Jalen Ramsey. They went out. They were aggressive, and they got a DK Metcalf. They signed him. So it's not like you have youth on your side. Kenny Pickett's irrelevant. He's in Cleveland, and he ain't playing. So Steelers got to figure this thing out. And if there's one team they should call on to know how to win or what it takes to win, it's the Los Angeles Rams last Sunday, beating their rival, the San Francisco 49ers, in stunning fashion, 42-26. Listen, I know I've been on the cusp of saying Drake May MVP. I've been saying Jonathan Taylor MVP conversation, but it's time to start putting Matthew Stafford in there because he has been very, very efficient. And I told Bryant this last week, don't sleep on the Rams. They're on a win streak. They won the last 4 games. Matthew Stafford this past Sunday threw 4 passing touchdowns. I know the San Francisco 49ers don't have Fred Warner. I understand that. But look, next man up, as Coach Gar always says. So efficient. And then you had Williams with 73 rushing yards. Devontae Adams, who's been really, really, really playing well. The connection with Matthew Stafford looks better than what it was when he was with Aaron Rodgers in New York last year. He's been getting in the end zone. The Cougar has been getting in the end zone. I mean, it's just been Matthew Stafford and this Sean McVay offense has been spreading the love around to everybody. And like right now, look, I think they're one of the hottest teams in the NFL. And I know the Seattle Seahawks are another team that comes to mind. But what was you guys' takeaway or thoughts on the Rams going into San Francisco and getting the win?
I saw, and I didn't watch too much of that particular game, but it was one game. I think I saw Blake Corum.
Blake Corum, yes.
Yeah, I said he was returning kicks. I said, oh shit. I said, oh, and he almost took that one back. I said, oh, Blake Corum, a sighting. But I like the Rams. He's been doing some great things over there. But it's Johnny. What have you done for me lately? I like. He can get them there, but it's almost the same thing. So the NFL is fickle, man. You just don't know. You're starting to get like the NBA, and you just got to watch it. You just got to be careful with how that thing moves. I don't know. I can tell you, I really don't know.
Moose, give me your perspective on this. Rams are on a 4-game win streak. They have another division rival against the hottest team, arguably in the NFL, and that's the Seattle Seahawks this upcoming Sunday. Defensively, they're ranked 2nd in the league in opposing points, which is 17. That defense is locked, sealed tight. They're 2nd and 3rd down percentage defensively, but offensively, I mean, they're 2nd in the league in passing yards. We talk about the Detroit Lions passing offense. Let's look at the Los Angeles Rams passing offense. Who do you have this Sunday between the Rams and Seahawks? Who do you like to win? And who do you like to win this division in the NFC West? Because, again, another division that's arguably up for grabs. And the Rams got a shot to make another deep run in this upcoming playoffs for this year.
I'm taking the Rams to win on Sunday. Taking the Rams to win the division. And the Rams could easily end the championship game. If they, Coach mentioned Blake Corum. I don't like that they got them back there returning kicks. But if you notice, they're starting 3 straight games of over 10-plus carries or at least touches a game. And it seems like they're trying to incorporate him a little bit more. And one thing that translates into postseason is running game. A running game could absolutely, take a whole nother team out of contention. You keep getting beat up at the line and that offensive line going, and then it just opens up lanes for Nakua and Devontae Adams and Tutu Atwell and all these other players. Matt Stafford, he's a vet. I think this is one of those another year runs for McVay. I feel it coming if they can get that running game really matching what they're doing offensively passing. That defense is locked, so they're ready to go.
I'm going to sit here and say, playing Seattle is a bitch. Seattle's off. And what's the running back name that's over there? Dottle?
Which one? Because they have 2 studs.
Right. No. You talking about Charbonnet and
are you talking about Charbonnet and Walker?
No, not Walker. This is the other kid.
Probably Charbonnet.
Charbonnet.
Yeah.
Charbonnet, yeah.
Look, this Seattle is, man. That's your dark horse.
Seattle's That is a dark horse, and that's going to be their test.
They are. But let me remind the audience. Let me remind the audience. We've seen this play before, right? We talked about Sam Darnold, for example, right? Sam Darnold, who was in the same situation last year in Minnesota. Everyone was praising him. He came in there. He was able to get the job done, getting the ball to Justin Jefferson. Offense was scorching hot. I mean, he brought him into the playoffs. And what did we see from Sam Darnold in the playoffs? The guy couldn't even score over 17 points in the playoff game. Minnesota Vikings went home early. Everyone had Minnesota to make a run in the playoffs. That didn't happen. Fast forward, he's in the same situation again. Seattle is 7-2. The Rams are 7-2. Both teams are on a 4-game win streak.
Minnesota.
Not also does Sam Darnold have a better offensive line than what he had in Minnesota. He's got a better run game in Seattle than what he had in Minnesota.
Yes.
And offensively, he has a similar offense than what he had in Minnesota. And guess what? Sam Darnold is going on the road this Sunday where the Rams are hot at home. Let's remind the folks. And I'm going to take the Los Angeles Rams at home. Matthew Stafford.
Give me Seattle.
Look, check this out. Matthew Stafford this year, 25 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Put him in the MVP conversation. Put him in the MVP
Stafford has been around for a long time.
Super Bowl champion, too.
Super
Bowl champion, too.
And he hasn't won shit. Give me
Super Bowl champion.
A long time. A long time. Give me Seattle.
No problem. Moose, we already know what time it is, man. Hey, Sean McVay, Matthew Stafford, let it ride. Give us the Rams at home against the Seattle Seahawks. Let it ride. We ain't worried about this guy. Kenneth Walker, man, we let it ride. We good.
We sit there and talk about that bum Drake May.
Hey, look, we gonna get to that. Don't ruin it for the people now. Don't ruin it for the people. I'm just saying, Matthew Stafford is having an MVP season, and as Moose touched on, this is giving me the feeling that the Rams are gonna have one of those seasons again where they make another deep push into the playoffs. Because Sean McVay, one thing he don't tolerate is giving up points. I mean, look, you heard what I said. Second in the league in opposing points. I mean, that's 17. Seattle scoring over 17 points on Sunday?
Sean McVay.
Is Seattle scoring over 17 points on Sunday? Yes or no?
Sean McVay. That's all he does.
This guy.
He just walks. Just walk.
They're checking. Listen, Los Angeles Rams
hold on.
All the boxes. All the boxes.
He just walks.
Hey, look.
You're right.
Seattle, baby.
Calling behind that.
Yeah, you know,
he
touchdown.
Some prime
touchdown.
From some prime games there. Yep.
Yeah, Devontae Adams. They about to get cooking. They getting cooking on Sunday. Devontae Adams, Nakua. Woo! They about to.
If they get that running game going, it's a wrap. It's a wrap.
We're going to discuss this next week live anyway.
Passing team in the league. Let's go Rams.
I'll add this. Seattle does play the run well on the road. I'll give them that.
Okay.
So if they can stunt, but I'm still taking the Rams. If they can stunt the run a little bit, they'll make it interesting. The team that wins Sunday wins the division. That's my call.
You say Seattle does this well on the road, but you know Seattle sucks at getting off the field on third down on the road, right? Give me the Rams.
Mm-hmm.
Third down, baby.
I'm
taking
the Rams.
Move the chains. Move the chains, baby.
Yeah.
Look, we ain't worried about Bryant. This is the same guy that took the Raiders on Thursday. You think this guy was incredible? You think this guy was incredible?
Fantasy football, both leagues. I'm 5-5. I gotta keep winning. 5-5. That's it.
Let's get into something I really want to talk about.
That's good for fantasy football when everybody else is 5-5.
Hey, Moose, don't say that, man. I'm 4-6, man. I lost the last 3 weeks.
Woo!
Man, I got guys injured left and right. Man, this is some bull. But MVP discussion, we just talked about it. Drake May, Jonathan Taylor, and Sam Darnold. I'm going to put – it's not Sam Darnold, excuse me. Matthew Stafford. And I just want to commend these two guys right here because I know Saquon Barkley has opened doors. We know Saquon was the MVP last year. He's opened doors for guys like Jonathan Taylor to come in, and Jonathan Taylor is having a phenomenal year with the Indianapolis Colts. I mean, if I had to give my MVP vote, I got to give it to the running back. I would give it to Jonathan Taylor. I know Drake May's in that conversation. I know Matthew Stafford's in that conversation. But Moose, quick pick, if you had to give your MVP vote right now from what you've seen from these two guys in particular, along with Matthew Stafford, who would be your MVP of this season?
Jonathan Taylor, because he's reminded people that Daniel Jones is a solid quarterback playing somewhere else. It's got to be JT. He's brought life back to Daniel Jones's career, and it just goes to show you what he can do with a running game.
Bryant, let me get your perspective on this. Colts are sitting at 8-2. Jonathan Taylor already over 1,100 yards rushing on a year, 15 touchdowns. Are you impressed with this year? And is he your MVP vote for this season?
You know that I coach Moose because he just said exactly what I would say. You need a running game to help your quarterback big time. And he has definitely helped his corner because Daniel Jones, even though I have Daniel Jones on my fantasy, and there are times when he's an absolute bum. So, I'm forced to have him there because of Daniels is hurt. It's just what it is. But Jonathan Taylor is basically, he's nasty.
He is. He's got a good offensive line too, and he's only fumbled one time this year, and he averages over 113 yards rushing a game. How can you stop that? How do you stop that?
Nasty. He's nasty. Like I watched the game and I was like, yo, this kid nasty. Like he's doing some work better than pretty much any running back I've seen so far. He is putting in that work. So he's making Daniel Jones look like freaking John, like Starbuck.
and just another fun fact. The Colts are in a bye this week, I should say, for week 11. But right now they have the league leader in the NFL in passing yards. They have the league leader in rushing yards, and they have the league leader in tight end receiving yards, all while having the best record in the NFL at 8-2. I'm not buying into the hype just yet because I've seen this play from Daniel Jones again before, but he does have an improvement on the offensive line. He's got improvement on the running game. He's got improvement on the receiving game. And the Colts right now, the hottest, if not the hottest team in the NFL. But when it's all said and done, Drake May is going to be the MVP this year just to ruin it for you guys. Sorry. I'm just saying. Let's get into our Thursday Night Football preview as well as our Thursday Night Football locks between the New York Jets and the the 8-2 New England Patriots this Thursday night. Bryant, you are 6-4 on Thursday Night Football picks this year. Your boy is 7-3. Holla at your boy. Let's get into it. Who do you have tonight, Thursday Night Football, Jets or Patriots?
I've already said in our pre-picks in our discussions earlier, I'm going to be forced to take the Patriots. But I want the Jets to win in the worst kind of way because I cannot stand the fucking Patriots. I
didn't hear you. Your audio was going out. Who'd you say you taking tonight?
You heard what the hell I just said. You heard what I just said. I said that I don't like the fucking Patriots. I'm forced to take them. But I want the Jets to win in the worst kind of way. I cannot stand the Patriots. Can't stand them.
Good.
Forever.
Good.
I don't care who's there.
Good.
Jets, pull this out. I'll take the loss.
So you taking the Jets?
What?
You taking the Jets?
Come on, man. You don't make me bet on this game to go $50 on the Jets to win.
Hey, look, man. That'd be worse. That'd be worse than give your money to a homeless person on the corner, man. Don't do that. Moose, who you got tonight? Jets or Patriots?
Do I hear a 3-game winning streak coming? Do I see the Jets actually, fighting for their coach?
Don't be that guy. Don't be that guy.
Be that guy. Be that guy.
I'm gonna take the Jets. I'm gonna take the Jets. I'm gonna take the Jets. Short week, division rivals, and we're talking about. There's a lot of media hype. I think Aaron Glenn hasn't really handled the New York media too well. But that actually is a distraction enough so the players can focus on practicing, prepping, and playing on Sunday. Like that distraction, that's actually good because it takes the heat off the players. Nobody's focused on, Mason Taylor only having one catch or Justin Fields only throwing for 54 yards, somehow winning the game. Again, put your players in a position to win the game. You play to win the game.
You
Jets,
play
I'm
to
taking the Jets on
win the
Thursday.
game.
To win the game. Yeah.
Are you guys finished? As much as all that sounds good, we don't give a damn. The Patriots on a 7-game win streak. They'll be a home third tonight against the dysfunctional 2-7 New York Jets. Give me the New England Patriots at home. And you already know what time it is. Time for Thursday Night Football Locks, brought to you by no one. And for my locks for this Thursday night's game, tonight I'm taking Drake May over 200 yards passing. That Jets defense, they in trouble. Give me Drake May to throw not one, but 2 touchdowns. And I'm going to go with, just because I'm in a good old jolly spirit after beating the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on the road, give me Trayvon Henderson over 50 yards rushing and anytime touchdown score. That's the lucky for Thursday Night Football Locks. Your boys got you, baby. New England Patriots, we're going to take care of business on Thursday. Not even worried. It's all those Jets fans. Just because you're on a 2-game win streak means absolutely nothing. Y'all are about to get humbled on the road in Foxborough on a short week after beating the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Looks like we're going an 8-game win streak, Mike Vrabel. Let it ride. Let's go Patriots on Thursday. Moose, shame on you. I will see you next Thursday, sir. I will see you next Thursday.
Yeah, I'll bring you some toilet paper. I'll bring you some toilet paper next week.
Let's go, baby. Let's go. Let's change some gears. We're going down the road to the NBA, and I know it's early in the season, but I'm impressed with these teams that we're going to talk about in general. We got the Detroit Pistons. Don't sleep on them in the East at 9-2. Cade Cunningham in year 4 has pretty much took this team by force. He is a leader of the locker room. He's a leader of the organization, and the Detroit Pistons have another shot at getting back to the NBA playoffs this year. OKC at 10-1. SGA, we know everybody coming off of being defending champs. They went from being the hunted to the haunted, or the what's the saying go? Being from hunting to being hunting the haunted. You know what I'm trying to say. They're the defending champs at 10-1, and the San Antonio Spurs, who recently went into Chicago and beat Bryant's good old Chicago Bulls. They're at 8-2. Bryant, just a quick thought. Wemby, can you take us through that game-winning shot that Wemby did? What would you have done any different if you're Billy Donovan from a defensive standpoint?
Now, I put on Instagram, and I sat there and I said, Billy Dummerman. I call him Dummerman. You sat there and watched a 7-foot Wemby take 1 dribble, 2 dribbles, 3 dribbles, step back, shot at 3 in slow fucking motion without sending anybody towards him. And he broke the ankles of the defender. He needed help. So run 2 defenders at him and rotate in the back. Get the ball out of his hand because the man is a monster. You got to think about it. Wemby set out half the year last year. So he is fresh.
Yes.
He is so fresh. His legs, he was a rook. He coming back his 2nd year. He's physically on point. He's been working out for longer than anybody has. He's probably the best player right now in the league. He is dominating by far. You mean to tell me that you go put him one-on-one with that kid? You've lost your dumb mind, Dummerman. Get the ball out of his damn hands at that point.
Nikola Jokic was not the right guy in that situation with the game on the line. You know, Musa Bears started off 5-0. The Bulls started off 5-0 for the first time since the 95-96 season, but they lost the last 3 games, including losing at home against Wemby. Wemby right now is 2nd in the NBA in rebounds, averaging over 12 a game. But what you've seen from the Spurs from Wemby and bringing De'Aaron Fox back, who's pretty much been brought in to be the closer for this team, having Rookie of the Year, Stephon Castle having a good year too so far. What do you see from the Spurs, and do you see the Spurs, if healthy, can they get to a Western Conference final? I know it's too early. We're early in the season, but you got to be impressed from what you've seen so far from the Spurs this year.
Young man.
They're young. They're young, but
Go ahead, Moose.
they're deep. They're deep. Their guards they're very, very lengthy at guards. They got Harper, they got Fox back, they got, Castle. Like it's their setup for them to grow into that role and try to make Wemby the player he's supposed to be potentially. And Wemby wants to win now. Players that height and that size, they don't last long. He's not here to just play games. He's here to win. And I think the change of the guard, if not this year, within the next year or two, I could see him holding up a few trophies soon. Whether
Yeah.
MVPs, Larry O'Brien trophies, it's gonna come. It's gonna come.
Yeah. I thought one of the best things that Wemby could have done in his early career. We know he has Tim Duncan in that organization, but going out this summer and to work out with the greatest big man, arguably of all time, in Hakeem Olajuwon, we see the bag work indeed. The guy can he's bringing the ball up for the Spurs. He's pushing the pace in transition. He's got his back to the basket game. His skill set is just improved from last year. And as Brian said, he's healthy now than probably what he's ever been. I know last year he had some troubles of staying consistent within the lineup. But Spurs are a tough team, man. And look, and OKC's quiet because they're winning. SGA is averaging over 34 points a game. And anytime, as a defending champs, they get off to a hot start of what they got to right now at 10-1. I mean, look, the West the West always been good, but the West this year alone, the Lakers winning without LeBron, we got Denver and Jokic, they're winning. It's going to be a great year for the NBA, and I'm looking forward to see it as we get down later on in the season. But Moose, I know this is something you want. Go ahead, Bryant.
I want to say one thing before you go to Moose. Wemby's got to win the next 2 years. And there's a reason why I say this. Because you got 4 freshmen in college that is just as good as he is, that are 7 feet, 7'1", 7. You got about 3 or 4 of them. That kid from Virginia Tech, that kid from Virginia Tech is nasty. He's nasty. It's another one. It's about another 2 or 3 that they are raw at the plate right now, but in 2 years they're going to be nasty because they're doing some of the things that Wemby's doing right now as freshmen.
Yeah,
18, 19 years old. Hey, no, I've sat and watched them in college, and I said, "Holy shit!"
Yeah. The league's in good hands.
The league is about to change, and it's about to change big time. I feel bad for 6'2" guards because they're getting ready to go bye-bye. These guys are handling the fucking ball like they're 6'3" guards, and they're 7'2", 7'4", 7'9". I said, "What the fuck am I watching? A pencil that's going in there and they're getting skinny and dribbling the ball?" Yo, I've never seen no shit like this ever, and I've been around this game for 40 years, and big guys coming out of nowhere. We've never seen them where they came from. They're 18 years old, 19, and they're dominating like this. NBA is in great hands, for sure.
They are. Moose, I want to piggyback to you because I know we talked about this privately before leading up to episode 40 of the Rewind, and that's just the world we're in today and how public and how much of everything in the gambling world being already the sports gambling being legal, as we already know. And we know it plays a big role because I could remember being in high school, knowing a bodega or two, going in there to, we look at the lines and picking 7-1-2 run line or 6-1-4 money line or 3-14 solo points over. But give me your perspective on what you've seen. We know it's been a lot of trouble, especially in the NBA with sports gambling. We know a lot of guys like Chris Paul, Dante Jones, and others have been involved with this ongoing federal investigation that's taken place. Adam Silver, pretty much having the opportunity to take care of the Terry Rozier incident in 2022, I believe, but didn't, swept it under the rug. Terry Rozier was quietly injured for the remainder of the year. But give me your perspective for what you've seen and how much of this is being exposed more and more, not also in the NBA, but also in other sports such as Major League Baseball.
Well, you saw that they just adjusted some of the prop bets in baseball. They're trying to eliminate some of it. The accessibility in itself, gambling, it becomes an addiction, if you don't control it correctly, just like any other illness there is. And then you add into the fact of The accessibility alone, like you just said, going to a local store, having, at any age, because nobody's turning away a free buck, right? Free dollar. And that's the whole thing. The majority of these Vegas book lines, these sports books, they make their money off of parlays. And it's almost like a lottery ticket. Someone's gonna hit, but a lot of people lose. And those people that lose are really what's funding the nation with that. And sometimes the money doesn't meet the matters, and you have a government, you have states that are making a lot of money from the taxes that are being paid in it, just like the lottery. But it's not, is it harming more than helping? Is it going to the right resources? Is it doing the right things so the people it's supposed to get away from? And unfortunately, these people just want to win. Especially in the competitive nature in sports and athletes, they just want to win. And then that winning, just winning, before, nobody wants to lose, right? They want to win so badly that it doesn't matter what they win, whether it's a card game on a plane, whether it's checkers, chess, whether it's playing NBA 2K online. It doesn't matter. They want to win. And then that one becomes just as addictive as anything that they do in life. And then you add in the gambling aspect and the accessibility. And then if they lose and they're in a hole, they try to make it all up in one shot. And you got pitchers trying to, gamble on one pitch. That's kind of tough, man. You lose the fans real quick with that, because then it's like we feel rigged.
Yeah. I think another thing to add on to that is we already have heard from the NCAA that college players can have the right to bet legally now on the sport and professional sports. And I'm all for people make their money, but I think in some regard it's so much out there, and we know the players from a professional perspective, they know that people like the public as us are betting on them to score X amount of points, or to hit a home run, or to get X amount of hits, or X amount of strikeouts, or X amount of rebounds. But you mean to sit here and tell me that how can I say we? I'm going to say we. How could we allow it to get this far? Right? Like we somehow have lost track of this. Greed. Because when I look at this, FanDuel, and I look at ESPN Bet, and I look at all these sports bets, the only place that really is hurting from this is Vegas. Because before this, Vegas was a place to be, to make your money, to bet on games, to bet on craps, to bet on horses. But now you don't even have to do that. You have it at the disposal on your phone. It's taking a lot of money from Vegas, and I know Vegas is hurting this year compared to where they were years past. But I mean, me and Bryant are guilty. I can say that, every year, the NCAA tournament.
He's speaking for himself. I don't know what he's calling.
I got receipts.
Yeah, not underneath my name.
But Moose, man, what are some things you think that we can do to is there a cap on this? Is there a limit in terms of changing some things up, from the sports betting app to even sports gambling in general? Is there something that can be done to change this, or is it pretty much we've got as far as we can come and there's no stopping us yet?
Well, they've got to reach a point to find where the greed becomes. So when is enough too much? I think Shaquille O'Neal touched on this. They start talking about the money that these players make and made in the league, and whether they worked well in finances. And some people just can't be patient enough to reach that next financial gain, or contract, or whatever they get. Like college players, they get NIL money, right? So now what are you going to tell me that these players are starting to put NIL money? They're going to put it all on the Chargers? Like, dude, you know what you're creating there? You're creating a hole. Right. You're creating, and they're going to chase it. It's an addictive personality issue. It becomes an ugly illness, and it's one of the things that will plague society till there's no ending it.
There isn't, man. I mean, look, when you win, you win. You take your winnings and you take that money and do what you feel. But it gets to a point where people are investing in their retirement 401ks that they're investing their stock investment portfolio. I mean, wherever they can get the money from, they're pulling it and they're betting it, but they're not betting. See, if you're gonna bet strategically. If you're gonna put $100,000 on a game, make it make sense. I mean, if you didn't watch the NFL season all through the year, but you want to bet, you want to pick a team in the Super Bowl and lose, motherfucker, you deserve to lose. I mean, where were you all year? I mean, but and then you get into a situation where, man, I lost $100,000. Now I'm $100,000 in debt. How am I going to clean this up? What am I going to do? And then that's when stupid things start to happen, crime or anything like that. But it's just I don't feel bad for those people that do that, because at the end of the day, you say greed, but it's a choice. You make a choice to say, hey, I'm going to bet $100 on this 4-leg parlay on this upcoming college football games on Saturday. And if I win, I win. If I don't, I don't. But if you lose and you got a safety net and you're not a gambling addict, great. All for you. But if you bet your rent money on this parlay and lose, that eviction notice will be on that door.
Yeah, accountability is key, man. Accountability is a big role in that. And you got to check each other, you got to check yourself, got to make sure that you're doing things responsibly. I think that's why they put it out there. But again, you start accessing it as a player, it gets a little wonky, it gets a little weird. You got to figure out how to move from there. And, again, you got players that didn't have that access to those finances. Now they have access to the finances and the risk taking. So there's a different story there,
Double trouble. Let's Bryant, let's go to a topic that I know you love to talk about, and that's college football, baby. Breaking down week 11 as well as previewing week 12. And boy, I tell you, Brian, I was watching that Penn State Indiana game, and I was like, man, what Indiana did on that last drive, walked it down the field, got the game-winning touchdown, 2 feet, not 1 feet, 2 feet inbounds. Kurt Signetti and his Indiana Hoosiers improved to 10-0, still ranked number 2 in the country. But I'm sure at one point you thought Penn State had it in the bag, didn't you?
I thought they did, but Indiana was making barbecue back there, and they didn't invite me. They hurt my feelings. It's just what it is. That was an amazing catch. I didn't think that he. What's his first name? Omar Cooper.
Omar Cooper. Touchdown. The only touchdown at Indiana score in the fourth quarter.
Yes, it was a great catch in the back of the end zone, man. It was one of those things that this kind of exposed Indiana.
Yes, it did.
Of what they are getting ready to face against the better teams, because Penn State is really not a great team. We said this before the season started that I don't know why they were ranked number 2. They haven't proven anything, and the Big Ten is not that good this year. This is a really down year for the Big Ten. I don't care, even included the other teams like USC and UCLA. Everyone is not that good. Ohio State is by far the superior team this year. No question about it. So Indiana being right there behind it, they really haven't faced that caliber of type of competition yet until you start getting the playoffs. And that's when the exposure with Penn State in this game. Now they got to go back to the drawing board and see how they can be able to beat these other teams. I don't think they're going to beat Ohio State. I don't think they're going to beat any of the top tier teams, 10 teams in the country.
Yeah, they finished the season with Wisconsin at home and at Purdue. But let's face it, it'll set us up for a Big Ten championship matchup between Ohio State and Indiana. That will be the test for me to see if I think Indiana, no doubt Indiana will be in the college football playoff, but that'll be the true test for me to see where they are, because right now, Jeremiah Smith is on pace, if not already, to be the all-time leading receiver in Ohio State football history. I mean, what Jeremiah Smith has been doing this year, being a Heisman candidate, has just been insane. And like we said, the quarterbacks in the Big Ten, they're all young. I mean, Ohio State's quarterback, I believe, is a junior or sophomore or junior. And Ohio State, Ryan Day, he's right back where he was last year. I mean, Ohio State arguably could win back-to-back. That's right. I said as a Michigan fan, they could be back-to-back because even though their schedule hasn't been the greatest in terms of competition and in terms of top 25 matchups, they're going to have an opportunity to play a good Indiana team. And, Indiana being ranked at 2, I think they deserve it. I don't think this win by 3 on the road at Penn State changes anything. If anything, it just gives us as fans the eye open to be like, hey, Ryan Day, like, all right, I see some holes in this Indiana team, and now just all about coming up with that game plan when they meet up in the college football. I'm sorry, in the Big Ten championship in a few weeks, because let's just face it, Indiana will win right on out. But just going around the college football playoff world, Alabama, Georgia, Texas Tech, Ole Miss, and Oregon and Vanderbilt, those 6 teams all won this past Saturday. Thank God for that, because God damn it, when we look at this Saturday's games, we got number 9 Notre Dame versus number 22 Pitt. That'll be a good game. But the 2 games that I have circled on my calendar for Saturday, and I know I'll be in a seat somewhere, drink in hand, watching the game. And the first game is number 11 Oklahoma taking on number 4 Alabama. Alabama 6-0 in SEC play this year. Quick pick, Brian. Who you got, Alabama or Oklahoma?
I'm taking Oklahoma. They got to win this game. They is do or die. They can't afford to lose any more games. That front 4, it was phenomenal at the beginning of the year, but they're starting to wear down, and they got to find a way to get past it. I don't think this Alabama team is that physical, so the physicality will be probably on Oklahoma's side. I think they can pull this out, but it's going to be a 6-point ball game either way. But however, I'm pulling for the Sooners.
I'm going to go with Alabama at home, 6-0 at home, I'm sorry, not 6-0 at home, 6-0 in SEC conference play. They are 5-0 at home. They're on an 8-game winning streak. Oklahoma hasn't been as consistent enough as I thought they would be this year, having 2 losses. Alabama will give them 3. Alabama being the 4th team in the country, they'll move on to 9-1. Moose, who you like? Quick pick, Alabama or Oklahoma this Saturday?
Roll Tide, roll. I don't think there's going to be. Might be interesting. It will. But
it will.
I'm gonna take Bama. I'm gonna take Bama. They look like they're gonna make their stride and try to put themselves back into that conversation as one of the best teams out there.
Yeah, I agree. I found myself in 2 situations this year betting against Alabama, and I told myself I won't bet against them again until they prove me otherwise. And Alabama at home, they play better at home than what they do on the road. But let's just give Alabama credit. A lot of people didn't expect Alabama to be where they are right now. I mean, when you look at the offensive play, you got to be impressed from Ty Wilson, quarterback at Alabama. He's been playing really, really, really good football, and he's taking care of the football. I know. We talk about Mr. DJ Lagway for the Florida Gators. That guy turned the football over more than I did in Pop Warner, and I don't even play no more. But Ryan Williams is not having that big year that I thought he would have, but he is starting to turn the corner. Right now is the perfect time to get your game going as you prepare for conference championship play, as well as college football playoff play. So give me Alabama at home, Bryant, and the game of the night for me and for everybody in America. If you're a college football junkie, that's number 10 Texas on the road going into Kirby Smart's number 5 Georgia. Georgia is 6-1 in SEC play. Give me your pick. Do you like Texas Longhorns, or are you taking the Georgia Bulldogs on Saturday? Who wins?
I'm taking Georgia because that Manning. I refuse to bet on a Manning until a Manning proved me wrong. He's got to prove me. This is his makeup game. If he throws a goose egg and looks like a slewfoot duck, then guess what? Guess what? You're gonna fucking take an L. Come in there and play like you know how to play as a Manning. Other than that, if you look like week 1 against the Georgia, it's going to be a long-ass day. He hasn't proven anything to me yet. This is the makeup game. Show me. This was pretend like this is Missouri, the show me state. You got to show me.
Moose, who you like Saturday, Texas or Georgia?
Coach said he hasn't bet on the Manning until he proved him wrong. So he must not believe too much in Danny Manning, but I'm gonna take Arch Manning in Texas. I think this is where he does prove you wrong. This is where he does prove you wrong. I think he shows up to the bright lights. He's got his legs under them. You know, people put a lot of pressure for him to try to make that stretch this year to go into the draft next year. He always said he wasn't going to the draft next year unless it was the circumstances put him there. But he wasn't going to the draft next year. He was going to draft. He's trying to go draft it maybe the year after that. He's trying to enjoy who he is and let the kid learn, let the kid grow into that role. Texas by 10 at that.
Texas by 10. They are underdogs.
Well, I tell you what, he's better than, and this is saying something crazy. He's better than the quarterback. What is it? Gabriel Dillon, whatever the hell his name is.
Dillon Gabriel from Cleveland.
Yeah, he's better than him right now. So put his ass in the draft and send him to Cleveland to do something with him because they damn sure not gonna play the door.
Yeah, look, listen, fellas, it's pretty simple for me. You know, me being a Patriot fan, it runs deep with the Mannings. All right, I've had years of war with Peyton when he was in Indy and in Denver. I've had 2 Super Bowl losses against Eli, two losses that I have nightmares about till this day. The last time I put my money on Texas was on the road going into Florida. You would think Texas would go into Florida and take care of business, but boy, was I wrong. And let me tell you something. One thing I know about Steve Sarkisian in big games.
Oh, he folds.
He folds. And one thing I know about Kirby Smart, he going to have the Georgia team well prepared, prime time, 7:30 in Georgia, Athens. That place is going to be sold out, rocking. Woo! Georgia on a 5-game win streak, although Texas on a 4-game win streak. Georgia's coming in at 8-1, Texas at 7-2. If they want to keep their college football playoff hopes alive, they must win on Saturday. But give me the damn it Georgia Bulldogs at home. But I will alternate the spread to Texas plus 14. It'll be a close game. I look forward to it. But give me Georgia at home against Texas to move on to 9-1. Steve Sarkisian. Let's go, Kirby. Go Dogs. And it's time for this week's edition of episode 40. Moose, may God be with us. It's all I got to say. May God be with us. It's time for this week's edition as I close my eyes and pray of Coach Gar's hot take. God, guide us through this one because I don't have the strength. Take it away.
Yes, guess who's back? This is Coach Gar on the hot take. We talked about this before. And this man here just can't shut the fuck up. He just can't leave sports the fuck alone. I like talking about sports from morning to fucking night. But every time this bozo opens up his mouth, I swear I wanted to take his own foot and stick his foot in it. He got booed at Washington. They gave him the middle finger in the fucking stands. He just disrupts everything with sports. And you want to change the Commanders back to the Redskins and cause that fiasco? Man, I'm glad these Epstein files are starting to come out. Now we can talk about some real shit. And leave sports alone because this is fucking driving me crazy. And then I had some bozo talking about well, I'm glad he is in sports because, you know, we can start talking about keeping men out of playing women's sports. I don't care a shit about transgenders. I don't care nothing about that bullshit. I just want to watch the fucking game. That's it. Leave it out. And that's my hot take.
This episode has been brought to you by Global Sports Entertainment 3. We want to give a special thank you to all our guests who came out tonight to join us episode 40. We will see you guys next week right here on YouTube Live, 9 p.m. Eastern Time for episode 41. Join Monty and Bryant. Look, I don't have much to say to this. Moose, you can have the floor. The only thing I will say is this. I can't say I'm surprised. I can't say I'm surprised Fox put him in the broadcast booth. And I won't say the gentleman's name, but Kenny Albert is the professional. He's out of this. He's got nothing to do with this. Son of the great Marv Albert. But Kenny Albert's color commentary partner on Sunday, when President Trump was in the booth, which give him a microphone, God knows what he gonna say. The analyst had the nerve to ask President Trump, "Sir, how are we doing as a country?" Why? Why ask that question on a national televised game? And Trump's gonna go out there and say, "Well, the country is doing greater than it's ever been. The economy is great. Gas prices are down. Grocery bill." I'm like, dude, what are you doing? And then on top of that, we know that Washington's getting ready to get a new stadium built in Washington, going to be a multi-billion-dollar job. Not also do this guy, former or current president, he wants to put his name on the stadium, Donald J. Trump Stadium. What in the world? How did we get here?
Why are we doing this, man? The motherfucker never played one down of football in his life.
He said he played tight end. You believe that?
Tight my ass.
Moose, man, do you have any any response to Coach Gar's hot take, or are you good?
We got here. I know how we got here, by not holding each other accountable. Some of his friends didn't tell him enough that he wasn't supposed to do what he was doing. But I agree. Just he needs to stay out of sports. Let sports be its own entity. But that's also it comes down to these billionaire owners, and they got to hold each other accountable. They got to make sure they stand for what they believe in and what they want their product to be on the field, and not let politics play a role in it to that degree. And it starts not only from there, and they got to probably have a little bit more inclusion into the amateur sports, whether high school or college and such. Try to keep that political and the government efforts to keep pushing on and control, keep it away. Because if you don't, you give them an inch, they're gonna ask for a foot. And if it was up to Coach Gar, he'll put I know what foot he'll give them.
Yeah. They need to take their lips and wipe the shit off of it, because they keep kissing his ass, and just keep watching with Listerine and just keep it sports. It's just that goddamn simple. Stop the bullshit. And you know what, Moose? You're right, because I do this shit all the fucking time. And you know when I'm fucking frustrated when I'm doing this shit. That shit is some bullshit. It is some bullshit. Stop. I like watching the game. But when you had him up there and you had these damn artists up there and somebody's getting married and paying attention to that shit, I don't want to watch that shit.
You know what? I'm not even mad at the got him in the booth. It's Veterans Day week. Salute the service. NFL tries to push forward that. None of that even bothers me. But you had to know what was coming from it. And if they're trying to build the stadium, you already saw the reports. He's searching for something to leave his legacy on. And if you give him an inch, he's going to push for that foot. And right now, these owners got to stay locked, ready to roll, and have that resistance on. Like, nah, we can't just give it up to you like that. We can't. So they got to stay in unison. They got to stay in unison.
Right now, we're struggling as a country. I don't know what world. When you're in the 1% world, of course, life is great. And there's better ways to skin a cat. We know, he tried to get ownership of the Buffalo Bills years ago. He didn't get that done. He's been dying to get his foot into some type of ownership in terms of owning a team in the NFL. That dream is probably not going to happen. But listen, man, there's better ways to be lead with class. Like, we talk about Veterans Day, and I'm not going to get too political. We got President Obama surprising a plane load full of veterans. That's class. That's leading with purpose. That is integrity. That is all the things that this guy does the opposite. Get into a damn NFL football game broadcast booth and just start talking nonsense. Why ask the question, how are we doing as a country? What do you think? Because we ain't doing too good. African Americans, we ain't doing too good. You know what's funny? I don't want to get too political. It's my last stat, and I'm leaving. You know that I saw a stat when the whole EBT shutdown thing happened. I mean, no, the government shut down. This is the longest that it's been, by the way, by any president. Thank you, President Trump. That white Americans, they lead the vote and ownership of or having an EBT account or a card than African Americans. African Americans are number 2. I didn't know that. I was like, those white folks double dipping.
Yeah, but
Double dipping.
They are.
It's the ratio. It's the ratio.
But it's the per capita. It's the per capita. To bring that number down.
The ratio.
Yeah.
The ratio.
The white folks on welfare?
The ratio is nuts. You know.
Yes.
Well, yeah.
Oh,
yeah. The middle America. Listen, you go out to Nebraska's and out there, the Missouris. Yeah, they hurting out there. They hurting.
Yeah. You know, it's funny. I early in the summer. And it messed me up when I thought about it. I was down in Lakewood. I was leaving the beach, and I went to this quick grocery store just to grab a few things. And I saw these Jews. Man, they pulled out an EBT card. I said, the Jews. And these guys ripping off America for years. And then I found out that all the houses down there in Lakewood, all those houses that's built, they don't pay the taxes on the house. They don't pay the taxes on the house. They build these $800,000, $1 million homes in Lakewood. Don't pay taxes. Something they do. I don't know what the scheme is, but it messed me up, man. I saw the Jew family pull out the EBT card. I was like, God damn.
Get you some chickens, put a fence around it, get you a goat and get you a horse, and you don't pay no taxes.
Call
it a farm.
I think it was something to do with churches. Something to do with churches.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah, that too.
That too. That's the other part of it.
A lot of gatekeepers, man. A lot of gatekeepers. Let's get into
a lot of gatekeepers. Or the last one, you bury somebody in the back and call yourself your property a cemetery.
Oh man,
you get. I'm serious. You get that. May she rest in peace. My grandmother did that, so she's buried in the backyard of her own house. So now that's the Garvin cemetery.
Smart woman.
Smart woman.
Now they don't pay no taxes.
Episode 40 edition. It is time for a rewind of the week. Here we go, baby. Here we go. Be ready so you don't have to get ready. Yes, I finally get to say on this platform that we have earned the right to silence the critics. Everyone's sitting here talking, well, the Patriots have to beat Buffalo. They didn't play nobody. Can they go into Tampa? Can they win? It's a true test for them. You're right. It was a true test for the New England Patriots last Sunday going into Tampa Bay. Yes, we know Baker Mayfield at one point was in the MVP conversations. I'm not worried about him. He's in the rearview mirror. Patriots have answered the test. Test passed. Why? They went into Tampa Bay knowing that Tampa was a favorite this past Sunday. 28-23 was your victory. Not also did Mike Vrabel had the guts to go for it on 4th down. Hey, look, that Dan Campbell effect is rubbing off on everybody in the league on going on 4th down. They don't give a shit where they at in the line of Drake made 270 yards passing, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Did I say Trayvon Henderson? I did take him for this Thursday's night anytime touchdown score. 147 yards rushing, another consecutive game rushing over 100 yards. Give it to me. Stephon Diggs, the leader on this locker room, both on the field, in the practice, in the film room. Look, this Patriots season is on a short week. Mike Vrabel wanted to give these guys a break. He said, oh, you guys can get tomorrow off. You know what the team said? Hell no, I'll see you at practice. That's championship pedigree. That is championship football. Let's go. Then we talk about Mac Hollins, a guy who I said is a dark horse in the receiving core. Man, this guy showed me he deserves to get the football more. Drake May found his guy over 106 yards passing. I mean, Williams got in the end zone. Stephon Diggs got in the end zone. I mean, New England is just balling. 8-game win streak. And we get to make it 9 Thursday night against a horrible 2-7 New York Jets. Let's go, Drake May. Keep the train rolling. Let's improve to 9-2, and let's prepare to win the AFC East, and let's get ready to be the number 1 seed in the AFC playoffs, and let's let it ride so it comes through Foxborough, because last time I checked, any playoff game in Foxborough is hard to win. I mean, we've seen that from Brady, and Drake May's continuing to break Tom Brady's records for the New England Patriots. Mike Vrabel, and special shout out to offensive coordinator Josh McDaniels. I mean, Josh McDaniels has came in here this year, first-year offensive coordinator, back with New England Patriots in year one. He's been with the Patriots for a long time during the Belichick regime. He's won a lot of Super Bowls with a guy named Tom Brady, and he has put Drake May in year two in the best position he's been in his career, and that's in MVP conversations. He's resurrected Drake May in this offense. The offense playing really well. We're giving you both the passing game and the rushing game. Mike Vrabel, after taking over for Gerard Mayo, they shouldn't have fired Gerard Mayo. Oh, man. Hey, look, I'm all for he should have got another chance. I lied. 4-13 in 2023, 4-13 in 2024, and goddamn it, 8-2 in 2025. Mike Vrabel is a winning coach. He took Tennessee to the playoffs. He's also the same coach that beat Tom Brady in his last game as New England Patriot before Tom Brady went to Tampa Bay to win some more Super Bowls. Put some respect on Mike Vrabel's name. And better yet, let's put Mike Vrabel in the conversation for Coach of the Year because, damn it, his resume speaks for itself. That's all I got for this week's edition of Rewind the Week. Don't even ask Brian and Moose what they care because I don't care what they got to say. It's time for Floss with Moss. Let's go. On this week's edition of Floss with Moss, the fellas get the opportunity to tell me what they think. Now, remember, fellas, my top five after this week is fluid after week 10. Not fluid, I'm sorry. It's flossy because, when I floss, it's flossy. We can move things around. This is my top five after week 10. Why do I say that? The Seattle Seahawks at number one. Sam Darnell and this offense looks really, really good. I'm not impressed just yet. I've seen this before, and look,
he's not impressed, but he got him at one.
You don't have the floor. You don't have the floor. Wait your turn. Seahawks are number one right now. Number two, I got the Indianapolis Colts. That's just a no-brainer. Jonathan Taylor, MVP. Colts are on a bye this week. Daniel Jones is playing his best football that he's played since he was a New York Giant. I know people say, well, why don't you have the Colts at one? No, the Seahawks are at one. They're 7-3. They're tied first in the division, and right now they have one of the hottest offenses in the league. And when we look at New England Patriots number three, that's a no-brainer too, right? Winning at Tampa Bay, answered the test, answered the call, beat the Tampa Bay Bucks on the road, coming back home on a short week, as Moose said, against a horrible 2-7 New York Jets. Not worried. I know. Why the Eagles at 4? They barely beat the Green Bay Packers. Offense looked like crap. A.J. Brown's not getting the ball. He's on his live stream talking about the problems that they're having in the locker room. Nick Sirianni's coming out to his press conference saying, well, I'm just happy to have A.J. Brown here. We'll figure these things out. I'm tired of hearing about it. I'm tired of hearing about it too. We've seen already 2 weeks ago when Jalen Hurts in the offense gets things rolling, A.J. Brown benefits, Devontae Smith feeds families, Saquon Barkley is a surgeon. Everything works out and is aligned perfectly. But when you have games where A.J. Brown's not involved offensively and he's not getting over 50 yards receiving and he's not getting over 6 receptions a game, that hurts the Eagles' offense. I mean, Jalen Hurts, he's only had one game this year where he's passed over 300-plus passing yards, and that resulted in a win. The Rams, I know, I probably should put the Rams at 4 and the Eagles at 5. Sorry about that. We get next week to change things up a little bit. But why the Rams at number 5? I know people are saying, well, why do you have the Rams at 5? They should be higher. Why don't you have the Chargers there? They're 7-3. Or why don't you have the Seahawks lower? Or why don't you have Detroit after Dan Campbell calling plays with Coach Garvin's glasses on? Look, the Rams are the Rams. They're the hottest team, one of the hottest offenses in the league, second in the league in passing yards. Matthew Stafford is pretty much having an MVP year, as we've seen before, 25 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Sean McVay and his Rams have a shot to make a deep run in the NFC playoffs, if not get to another NFC championship, as Moose said. And it's Monty's top 5 after week 10. It's Flossy. Moose, I'll start with you. Agree or disagree with my 5?
Disagree a little bit. I'm not sure if I'm putting the Seahawks that much ahead of other teams. I'm probably going Colts 2. I'll go to Eagles. I checked that. The Colts 1, Eagles 2, leave the Pats at 3, and I'll give you Seahawks at 4 and the Rams. You can leave them at 5 for now till Sunday. But the Eagles are defending champs, and they're finding a way to win games, even when they struggle. So say what you want about it. I still have they're still putting the Colts as the best team in the NFL. And the Eagles, they're a veteran team who they still have a strong offensive line. They got a good coach. And while they may be a little awkward offensively, They're finding ways to win games when they're
Awkward.
not supposed to.
Look, Moose, man. My last point, and Bryant had a floor. You can't struggle going into the playoffs. A.J. Brown cannot be a non-factor offensively, and you paid them all that money. Devontae Smith, people forget, he's a Heisman Trophy winner at Alabama. Something's got to give offensively because you can't run the ball with Saquon Barkley all the time. Something's got to give. Something's got to give.
The Eagles 7-2. Those playoffs don't start till January.
You're right.
You know, they still got time. They still got time to get it right. They still got time to get it right.
Absolutely right.
And I can't stand the Eagles.
I mean, you're a Cowboy fan. I mean, you know what? We went an entire episode, Bryant. We didn't say not one thing about the Dallas Cowboys. Thank you. They're irrelevant. I'm happy. That's great. That is great. That is great for the country. Now, only if we can get President Trump to do the same. When we don't talk about him, life is great. Bryant, agree or disagree with my top five?
This top five is going to change over and over again. I think there's still some teams out there that are, they got bad records right now, but that possibly is going to change this up even more at the end of the day. I like Seattle. I think they're a tough football team. But I can go either way with a whole bunch of other teams that are better than this group. They're just not better than by record. It's just what it is. So Seattle is tough. I think the Colts are tough, but yet, it depends on if their running back goes or not. The Patriots, I can't stand that damn team. The Eagles, Hurts just, he, to me, and I've said this to a lot of Eagles fans, I don't think he's a great quarterback. I think he's good for them to win a Super Bowl, but I don't think he's great for them to win a Super Bowl. You start Saquon, then, it depends on what defensive unit you're facing. Last year, they just happened to face a weaker defense to win the Super Bowl. This year, they missing a lot of pieces to it. So they don't have players that they had last year. So now you got changes in their system.
I agree.
And now they got, bitching in the locker room, which is not healthy at all. And the reason why they're bitching is because of contract.
I don't blame them.
A lot of that stuff affects your money. So
I don't blame A.J. Brown.
No, when you don't get any touches, then you're taking money out of his pocket. So
2 receptions, 13 yards on Monday night. That's unacceptable.
I get it, but it's unacceptable. But yet they're winning. So what's more important, winning or your pocket? That's basically what you got to come to.
All I'm saying is, in terms of formula, you Eagles cannot be in a playoff game, and A.J. Brown is not a leading factor. That's all I'm saying. And I'm not taking nothing away from Devontae Smith because Devontae Smith has been more consistent this year, but he only got the ball twice.
Right. Twice. But let's understand, with A.J. Brown became a major factor towards the end of the season for the Eagles last year. He just really blew up towards the end. And then now he's trying to be the focal point receiver. And
he's that guy.
He is the guy, but yet
he's a top 10 receiver, hands down in the league.
I get it, but he's
Jalen Hurts isn't.
He's exactly. And, you know what I'm saying? So you got a quarterback that's not great, that's good, that's throwing the football. It's not they're not a great team. They're a good team. They're missing a lot of pieces. So he's not going to have those. He's not going to have those passes like he got last year because the dynamics is different. So
I agree.
You got to look at it.
They're blessed to be 7-2 right now.
Right, blessed to be 7-2 because of those dynamics. You take 3 pieces out of a football team that won you Super Bowl, and you're 7-2. It's just what it is. You know what I'm saying? It's hard to replace those studs because they go and chasing out more money. But A.J. Brown, now he want to talk about leaving. The grass is never always green on the other side, especially when it comes to football. So you got to pick your poison. What do you want? Well, money? I'm going to chase the money at that point because you look at the guys now in the NFL, they can't even walk.
He's a Super Bowl champion, and look, The Patriots keep look, Drake May. Hey, he get you the ball, man. You have over 100 yards receiving if you want.
You go there. You going fishing for
let's hey, I'm just I'm just saying. I mean, he's always said he.
I'm opportunistic. I'm with it. I get it.
I'm just saying, man. Drake May getting the ball. I mean, look, but my quarterback throws over 250 passing yards a game. We ain't got to worry about that.
Drake May.
I mean, we ain't got Saquon Barkley. We ain't got Devontae Smith. But I'm just saying. I mean, you could be like the Titans and be 1-8. It could be worse. And he used to play for the Titans. It could be worse. It could be worse. But let's get our final thoughts before we sign off episode 40. Moose, let's lead with you. Final thoughts before you sign off. Where can the people find you? Where can people support you on your social media platforms? Give it to them.
Moose Takes on Instagram. And that's really about it for now. As far as appreciate you guys having me on here. Great to connect, and I'm looking forward to come back again.
Welcome anytime. You don't even need an invitation. You just need to say, "Hey, I'm coming on tonight as a guest. Find me a slot. Find me a segment, and I get you in there. No problem, man. I appreciate you coming on. I'm happy we finally got to get this thing done. So, Bryant, final thoughts before your final remarks before we sign off episode 40 on the Rewind.
I want to watch the goddamn game on Sundays with no interruptions. Cut all this bullshit out. That's it. That's it. That's it. I just want to watch the fucking game. That's it. Leave me the fuck alone. That's it. I don't want to see no motherfucker in the stands. I don't want to see no motherfucker singing. I don't want to see nobody's fucking wife in the booth. I don't want to see none of that. I want old-fashioned football back. I want to see some goddamn tackling. I don't want to see nobody rubbing shoulders and trying to make tackles and shit. I don't want to see none of that. I want to see regular football the way it was when I was a kid, and I used to sit there and stay up to 11, 12 o'clock at night, Central Time, to watch the end of the game underneath the covers from my parents. That's what I want. Won't get that shit. New era.
Unfortunately, you won't. Episode 40. If you haven't, please make sure you like, subscribe to our YouTube channel at the Rewind_GSC3, as well as follow us on all of our social media platforms at the Rewind_GSC3, as well as you can also subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your audio podcast. It's been a great one. To give a special shout out to my dog, my partner, Chris in 1990 Studios, for the work he does each and every week, week in and week out. Special announcement, next week's episode 41, will be live in studio from 1990 Studios in Canada. Wheels up to Canada next week, Brian. I'm excited for it. But want to give a special thank you to my dog, Moose, for coming on tonight. Always a pleasure. Although his Cowboys won't make the playoffs this year, but he's still welcome back anytime he wants to come on. So from my big brother, Moose.
We're making the playoffs. We're making the playoffs.
This episode has been brought to you by Global Sports Entertainment 3. Unfortunately, that will be cut out. Chris, cut that part out. I mean, Chris is a Cowboys fan as well. From my guest tonight, Moose, thank you for coming on. To my co-host, Brian Garvin, to my producer, Chris, to our graphic designer, Pat, for what he does each and every week. Episode 40, sign off, folks. We love you. Thank you for your love and support week in and week out. And we will enjoy this belt to ass that the New England Patriots getting ready to put on the New York Jets. Thank you. And as I say, every episode before we sign off, I come up with something creative. This week, I'm going to go Pats. See you next week.
Go to you.
Let's go!
I was checking out the scout report, and I don't see nothing but bums. You and your whole entire world know that I am the one. You and your squad ain't got nothing for me. Your organization is looking stressed, and now that you haters is running from me, I know that you see that I'm highly blessed.
Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Yeah, we live with your boy Coach G. Yeah, we live with your boy Monty.
You and your squad ain't got nothing for me. Your organization is looking stressed, and now that you haters is running from me, I know that you see that I'm